Hey, what's up everybody? Joshua Casper back at you with another video tutorial, and today I'm going to show you how to get better, glitchier drums with Fabfilter's Saturn. This is a really intense, really super dope, let's be honest, saturation unit, but it's got some really cool effects in it, and I found a way to make it add stereo glitchiness to percussion, which just helps to fill out stuff and make it sound a little bit cooler, a little bit more interesting. So what I've got here is just the same drum loop. One uses two instances of Saturn, and then the other one is just the regular drum loop by itself. So let's listen to the difference. And I want you to pay attention to kind of the stereo field and kind of the intricacies of what's happening, you know, in the left and right channels between this first one, which has Saturn, and the second one, which doesn't. Okay, so they both have a really nice stereo field to begin with, but obviously this one sounds a little bit more interesting. It's got a lot more happening, and it's got a lot more character, and it's all because of Saturn. So what I'm going to do is just show you how to get this done, and it's super easy to do, and it's got so much control, and you don't need to make it as extreme as I have here, but, you know, whatever, right? So let's get into it. I'm going to jump into, let's say, this one. Okay, so that's with Saturn. This is without. Is that not dope? Come on now. So let me come in and just come into clean. And this is kind of like the starting point inside of Saturn. And this is a saturation unit. You got lots of different types of saturation inside of here. Some are really clean, some are really, low key, and some of them are really aggressive. But the one I want to draw your attention to is this Smudge right here. So if I turn on Smudge and then crank up, by the way, such a sexy GUI, right? So it gets really crazy. And one thing that's really cool about this is you have this kind of drive the pan over here, which will just start to really push things out to the stereo field. See what it does there? So I'm sure you're already thinking that's what we're going to use to make these really cool intricate changes inside of the stereo field, and you're exactly right. So the way to do that is, first of all, I want to lop off the low end because I don't want this being pushed out for the low end. So what I can do is inside of here, if I go near the top, you can see the plus button, boom. Now we got multi-bands in here. So I can take this band pass and just move it over to, you know, somewhere conservative around 200 just to start, and then come back in later. And we can, we can actually add some saturation down there if we wanted, but what I want to do is just go ahead and put it on clean tube and roll back the drive. If I control click right here, I'll set it back to default. And, I just want to take the mix maybe just to be absolutely certain and go ahead and turn it all the way off, just so we're getting a clean signal down there and we don't need to worry about it. So if I come back over here, and this is where, we need to concentrate on, what I want to do is add some modulation down here. And if you don't see that, you got to click the modulation tab right here. And I'm just going to add an XLFO. And the really cool thing about Saturn is just drag and drop. So I want to drag and drop to the drive, and I also want to drag and drop to the stereo panner over here. And then I want to add a couple more steps, just add one more, two more. And for 3, I'm going to turn on random. 4, I'm going to turn on random, but I'm going to leave 1 and 2 just kind of as is, as a sine wave here. And what I want to do next is just adjust the drive for both of these parameters and use the LFO speed here, or frequency rate, speed, whatever, to adjust it until we're just getting some every now and then, and it's really pushing it out. And as you can see here, it's going to start down at the bottom and then roll its way up to the top. So if I was at 100% here and pulled the rate down here, it'd be like start down here and then slowly fade in and blah, 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 blah. But what I want to do is just kind of have it a little bit more sporadic. So I'm going to go do something like this. And that's way too much. So what I want to do is take the drive over here and maybe do something like this. Is that not super dope? And the last thing I would do is just come over to the mix. This is the main mix of the plugin, and I turn it down. And that way, there's a couple of things happening. One, the main sequence of percussion is there. It's a lot more present in the mix, which I want. I want it there because it sounds dope, and I'm just trying to add that extra bit of character. But it also, when there's like space happening and there's a glitch happening, we can really hear that in the mix. So I think it works out really, really well, especially because there are some spaces in here that allow the smudging to really kind of be in the focus for a little bit. But then because of the mix, we jump back into the regular drums and we still have the kind of rhythm that was set there to begin with. And the cool thing about having this XLFO is that we can really make some really interesting changes here. We can come in if we wanted to, if we really never wanted it to be dry, you know what I mean? We could do stuff like this. We can really come in and dial stuff in. And then we have these random ones, which is going to add to the glitchiness of it. Because I want glitch is what I'm looking for here. So having the random LFO position is really going to help me achieve that without me having to do anything. It's just kind of hands off. It's going to give me glitch. It's going to give me random, but it's still going to sound dope each and every time. And that's super dope. So now I can just save this preset, right? And then just anytime I want to come in here and recall it for anything that I want glitch to come onto. And I know my parameters, I know how to make it less or more. And it's just super dope. And it's just so cool because you would think Saturn is going to be just primarily saturation, but having this, you know, really unique modulation system and this smudge down here is just, it's phenomenal. And I wanted to share it with you guys, and that's why I've made this video. So anyway, I hope you learned something. If you have Saturn, definitely get in and check out the Smudge. If you don't, consider it because it's super dope and it's way beyond just having super great saturation and distortion options. Anyway, Joshua Casper here. I'll see you in the next video.